Good evening, everybody. I watched a sermon by Pastor, it's Dr. Darius Daniels. I saw him on Transformation Church and I started following him. And I watched this sermon, and it's on moving on from the life you thought you wanted. And the first point he made was learn how to manage what we don't see coming. The second one was just because I'm surprised by it doesn't mean God wasn't getting me ready for it. And I thought about my own life. I remember, like, me and my husband before he died, we used to party all the time. We used to drink all the time. And one day I woke up, it was about a year before he died. I woke up one day and I said, I'm not drinking anymore. He was like, what? Get out of here. He didn't believe me. He was setting up shots, calling me in the basement, Luisa. And I said, no, I'm not drinking. I'm telling you, I just stopped. And then a year later, my husband passed away. So I look at this and relate it to myself, because even though I was surprised by my husband passing away, God was getting me ready. I stopped drinking a year before he died. He was like, okay, Louisa, come on, you got to get your shit together. I'm taking him home to be with me. I have some things that only he can do. So you have these two kids, and so you got to get yourself together. So just because I was surprised by it doesn't mean God wasn't. He was getting me ready for him to take my husband to be home with him. When we never discover what God has for us, if we are obsessed with what God has for everybody else. I mean, I used to be that way. I said, why are you doing it for them? You're blessing them, and what about me? I don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore because I know that the Lord blesses me and he continues to bless me. He shows me in countless ways. So I don't compare myself to people anymore. I wish I had what they had. I know God has something in store just for me and only me. When we will not learn from instruction, God decides to teach us through experience. And I thought about my life again, and I thought about moving in with Trace. I I know instruction. I know I wasn't supposed to sleep with him and live with him. He was not my husband. I was not married, and I knew that, but I did it anyway. I did it anyway, and it caused my life so many unmanageables. It made me feel like crap about myself. I felt like a hypocrite doing these devotionals, and I'm living this life, and I'm living with my boyfriend, and I'm preaching, or I'm doing these devotionals. I wouldn't call myself a preacher, but I do these many Bible lessons. So I think about that. Um, let's see the next one. We're going to see that you have to learn that what feels like restriction is protection. And that's a big one also, especially when you're running late. When you're running late and you're like, oh, you're running late, and then there's an accident and you're even more late. You can't go to where you're going. If you stop and think about it, it could be a blessing, who knows, maybe the Lord did all this so you didn't get into a motor vehicle accident 5 miles down the road and been like seriously injured or killed or whatever. So we don't look at those little those are blessings that we just overlook, like, oh, it's not a big deal, but it really is. The immature have to stay in crisis to stay committed. The next one is don't get the degree on the wall and forget who got you through it. And I think about that. I mean, I can't say that I'm getting a degree on the wall, but I cannot forget who got me through this. It was the Lord all Himself that got me through every single thing in my life. There's so many things in so many areas where I see Him come into fruition in my life. Like when my daughter was doing her mission trip, she has a severe seizure disorder, and she was doing a 6 month mission, and the doctors are like, we're not giving you medication for 6 months. We can't do that. It's a 3 month supply, and that's it. So I'm like, okay, Father. I said, you want her to go on these mission trips? You figure it out. She needs this medication. Show me, and I'm gonna do whatever you tell me. I'm driving down the highway going to work, and it was like, pharmaceutical company. I wrote to the pharmaceutical company. I was like, my daughter's doing this. She has a severe seizure disorder. This is her medication. She needs it. How do I go about it? I need a 6-month supply. Open my door, it was all mailed to me. 6 months supply. So God will come through, and when God has something in store for you, and He's gonna set it up in line, everything is gonna be perfect and fall right into place like it was meant to be. Okay, let's see. God is like, I want to elevate you, but if I do, I'll lose you. And oof, and I think about that, and I'm afraid, and I'm like, Father, I don't want you to lose, I don't want to lose sight of you. And then someone said to me about how I said, I feel like I'm holding on to his hand, but after you're holding on for a while, your hand gets sweaty and starts to slip away. And then someone said to me, no, what you have to do is you have to allow him to hold you. So he's got my hand like this, and I know he's not gonna let me go. I ain't going nowhere because he's not gonna let me go. So that is it for now. I'm watching some other sermons, so when I get some more notes, I'm gonna come back and do another Bible study. I do like mini studies on what I learned, and I relate myself to it, and I share that with you guys. So you guys have a blessed day. Peace.